Good morning, everybody. It's Vicky with Dementia with Grace. How are y'all doing this morning? I hope everybody is doing great. Today, we are talking about the letter O in the ABCs of Dementia FAQs. On Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we are talking about a different letter of the alphabet and how it relates to the searches that people are doing for more information about dementia. We have talked about a lot of different things, and today I had to do a poll because it was so close between the two top things that people wanted to hear about, either obsessive behavior or outbursts of anger. And so I did a poll on my group, and if you're not in the group, go get on the group. It's the Dementia with Grace Caregiver Support Group, and there's a page, Dementia with Grace Show page. At the end, I'll delineate between those two, so stay tuned. But the vote was for the obsessive behavior, so that's what we're going to talk about. I've got my coffee, and I'm ready to go. Okay. Obsessive behavior, if you're looking at this video and you're watching this video, you probably have sought us out to get some answers about your person with dementia's obsessive behavior. And a lot of people want to understand, why did my person develop OCD all of a sudden, at the end of their lives? They've never been obsessive. They've never, had to, check the doorknob 8 times or the water faucet 10 times, or they want 4 forks at supper, or things like that. That's never happened. And so they think that they have developed OCD, which the tendencies look similar. I mean, they look the same, but the difference is it had never surfaced before. A person with OCD, you're going to see that behavior early on. I mean, in their 20s, 30s, 40s, you're going to see that behavior. You're going to know that that person was an obsessive type of person. What happens in dementia is that part of their brain is assaulted, that controls reasoning. That's so we've talked about before, the MCCJR, memory, concentration, critical thinking, reasoning, and judgment and reasoning, and insight. Okay, so in the reasoning centers and in the frontal-temporal region of your brain gets miscued. All of that. It's just a very easy way to say that. Let's just say that just the wiring gets, it just malfunctions. Okay, so having one toothbrush or one fork does not satisfy them. They feel like they need 4 forks at the table, or they need to wear 4 shirts, or something like that, and they're just okay. Obsessive is I have to do it. Obsessive is I'm about it, and compulsive is I've got to do it. So I need a fork, I need 4 forks, that kind of thing, if that makes any sense. What you need to remember is that it is their broken brain, and if it helps you to think about a literally broken brain, I think, just to see that visual above their head, to remind you that, they're not functioning the same way they were, prior to the dementia. So in my mind, it then goes back to managing the behavior, because it does get tiresome and worrisome, to have somebody asking the same question. We're going to talk about perseveration and repetitive behaviors on Friday, I believe it will be. And so we'll talk about more of that then. But basically what you're dealing with is somebody who it brings them comfort to do whatever they're doing. That's the point that we've got to come to it at. We are just facilitating behavior that allows them to feel some comfort, some peace, some satisfaction. So if they want to eat with 4 forks at the table, there is nothing wrong with that. If they want to go and turn the knob off of the faucet 100 times a day, there's nothing wrong with that. Their mind is compelling them to do these things. And so it would be like you getting a song stuck in your head and me saying, quit singing that song. you can't just turn it off, right? It's like, I gotta sing it. It's in my brain. I gotta sing it. I gotta sing it. I gotta sing it. And so it would only cause a disruption for me to tell you to stop singing that song. You know, sometimes I get a song stuck in my head, and I'll tell Phil, sing me a different song, so I'll start singing something different. I'll get off of this song. Yesterday on Sunday morning, CBS Sunday Morning, Linda Ronstadt was on there, and her Blue Bayou, she was singing. And I had Blue Bayou stuck in my head the rest of the day. Well, there was nothing I could do about it, and there was nothing wrong with it. It's just sometimes we manage the behavior of the person, and sometimes we manage our own behavior. Try to be the calmest person in the room. You know, I talk about that all the time, being the calmest person in the room. Recognize that whatever obsessive behavior they're having is because of their brain compelling them to do whatever they're doing, and allow for it if at all possible. If it is not a danger to them or others, I mean, you just have to decide on each behavior what is tolerable and what is dangerous, right? And if it is tolerable, if it's not hurting them or hurting anybody else or tearing up the house or, something like that, then you allow for it. You change your behavior and you allow for it. Now, if it is causing them some anguish or harm, let's say they decide to start picking at their skin and they have picked it raw. That would be harmful to them, and so we would need to try to mitigate that behavior. And there are some behavioral interventions you can do, like wearing gloves, wearing long sleeves, keeping their fingernails trimmed, those kinds of things that will help with behavior like that. If it gets absolutely out of control, talk to their doctor. There are medicines. Obsessive compulsive behavior is secondary to an anxiety issue sometimes, and so and not a lot of the anti-anxiety medicines are good for folks with dementia, good for the elderly, period. They're contraindicated. A lot of the Valium, Xanax, all of those benzodiazepines are contraindicated. But there are antidepressants who have a anxiety lessening component to it, and so something like that may be on board. But of course, I'm not against medicine, but I use medicine as the last resort because there's so much baggage that comes with medicine that I try to do behavioral things first. So the first thing I would do, if I could, would be to ignore the behavior, allow the behavior, and try to take a deep breath and just know that, every behavior, everything in the world, everything in the natural world has a natural end, a natural beginning and a natural end. And so every behavior will eventually stop. But if you can't live with the behavior, then you just have to figure out ways to work around the behavior. And if the behavior is harmful to them or others, then you can see the doctor and see if a onboarding of some kind of antidepressant would lessen the behavior. Okay, I hope these answered some of your questions. Leave a comment down below and let me know what are some of the obsessive behaviors that you deal with, and how do you allow for that. I think it's so important for us to share our information with each other. Fellow caregivers are watching these videos, and if you have something that has worked for you, certainly share it and let them in on the secret. The other thing is we have a support group. If you do not have a support group that you're a part of right now, maybe because you can't get out of the house and go to a support group, or there's not one available in your area, we have a Facebook support group. It's called Dementia with Grace Caregiver Support Group. The link is down here in the description, and we would love to have you and your experience represented on our group, for you to come and get some answers and answer some questions, and just have some support. There's a lot of love and joy over there. One thing that separates our group from the rest is that we are very positive centric. We do moan and groan and vent, but we always bring it back to something positive, something that remains. We know that there's a lot that's lost to dementia, but there's a lot that remains, a lot that we can build on and reach our people with dementia to their soul. And we talk about all that kind of stuff, okay? The Dementia with Grace show page is also on Facebook, and that's where I go live every Thursday night for about an hour. We have a live support group every Thursday night at 8 o'clock Central, and we talk about all kinds of things and answer all kinds of questions and have fun. We do it in our pajamas. So it's a lot of fun. So, all right, I hope to see y'all over there. If you have any questions for me, leave them down below. I'm very responsive to questions, and I look forward to answering anything that you might have, okay? All right, I will talk to y'all soon. Bye. Love y'all.